For more on that, we're joined by Mike Harris, finance editor of Veterans Today. Thank you for joining us, sir. Now, it seems that the Biden administration is trying to pin the blame for the steep rise on inflation on the Russian war against Ukraine. Do you see the ongoing war as the only factor causing the price hikes in the U.S., or are other factors involved as well?
I don't see the war in Ukraine as having any effect on inflation in the U.S. I see the Biden administration's malmanagement of the U.S. economy as the primary cause. Energy prices are going up because Joe Biden killed the pipelines that were bringing oil in from Canada and from the ANWR reserves. He stopped that. So we're no longer an oil exporting country, we're an oil importing country. The Federal Reserve's massive printing of money is what has been propping up the stock market. The world is realizing that the US dollar is just worthless paper. It has no backing to it. And so that's about to collapse. And it's just Joe Biden's entire approach here. Donald Trump had this country back on solid footing economically, and Joe Biden has undermined that completely from one end to the other. The COVID issue, which was imposed upon us, did have a minor disruption, but nothing that couldn't be overcome. But the roots of this go back to the Bill Clinton administration when he signed NAFTA, GATT, and let China into the WTO and began hollowing out the American industrial base. And so we're no longer a producing nation, we're a consuming nation, and our money is worthless. So I would advise anyone to get out of US dollars and to get into Russian rubles, gold, silver, and or Bitcoin. But the U.S. economy is tanked. Stick around, it's going to get worse.
And so we know that it's costing Americans a lot more to buy groceries or fill up their cars at prices not seen in decades. Do people really care why this is happening to them? What I'm trying to say is, are Americans pleased with the way the Biden administration is handling the economy?
Well, the American people are on the verge of a revolution in this country because we know Joe Biden stole the election. He's not a duly elected president, and he has been forced in there by this group that backs him, this Zionist Jewish Khazarian group that is funding him from the banking system. The Federal Reserve has printed way too much money for what the economy can sustain. Joe Biden can't blame this on anybody but himself, the banking system. There's other items like illegal immigration, which have depressed wages for decades now. So the American wages have not kept up with the cost of living now since Ronald Reagan passed the Simpson-Mazzoli Act back in 1986. The American economy, as I have stated, is really in bad shape right now, and this is because of malmanagement across both Republican and Democrat administrations for decades now. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, and the American people are the ones who are going to suffer from this. This needs to be rectified, and rectified soon. We don't have any problems we can't fix here, but we can't do it with the criminal government that stole the election in place. We need a regime change in the United States, which must be initiated by the American people ourselves. So that's really the bottom line here. We know how to fix our economy, and we can do it, but we're not going to do it with this government in place.
So Biden has promised to lower energy costs by authorizing the sale of plant-based E15 gasoline, which may increase smog-causing pollutants, and eventually it will save families only 10 cents a gallon. Will that be enough for American families?
Not even close. I mean, Biden does a lot of theatrical moves that make it look like he's doing something, when really Biden has been undermining our economy on a wholesale level here and everything. As I mentioned earlier, that by stopping the pipeline projects that were bringing oil and gas into the U.S., by stopping any additional leases for oil and gas development in the U.S., by stopping the exploration here, he's really made us dependent on foreign oil sources. So the U.S. is now begging Venezuela, they're begging Iran, they're begging Saudis to increase their oil production and allotments they're going to sell to the U.S. So they're making the U.S. even a bigger debtor nation than it already is. The U.S. is sustaining a level of debt never ever seen before, both on a government level as well as on a consumer level. Consumer debt is highest it's ever been in history, and the dollar is worth less and less every day. So the Federal Reserve cannot print its way out of this one. This is the end of the Federal Reserve System. I give it maybe 60 days, maybe 6 months, but the Federal Reserve is going to end, and the U.S. is going to have to go to a commodity-backed uh, financial system that cannot be manipulated and cannot be um, inflated the way that they've been doing. Without sound money, we don't have an economy. And we can rebuild our economy very, very quickly if we have a new government. We need to get rid of the Biden administration and the established administration that's in Congress and in the bureaucracy behind them. The United States needs a revolution. And the time is now, because as people start going hungry, as they are in China right now, and committing suicide on a massive level, when that comes to the U.S., revolution is at hand, and it's coming here. So the U.S. is in deep trouble. But like I said, we can fix this. We just need new people. We need a new government here.
Thank you very much. That was Mike Harris, finance editor of Veterans Today, joining us live from Phoenix.